The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shades thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, JASON BECK and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Yes. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Thursday, April 3rd, you guys. And today is National Film Score Day, you guys. Yeah, that's
great.
You say Kimini?
That's a great album from the Fugees too.
Film Score?
The Score.
Oh yeah, The Score was a good album. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Film. I feel like they should have just called this just like a National Siskel and Ebert Day.
Are they both dead now?
Yeah, they are. I'm pretty sure they are. I mean, they're both older than Dale.
Like one of them had like mouth cancer.
Oh man. It's also, yeah, you know, it's also National Find a Rainbow Day, so everyone go and search for your pot of gold.
Shout out to DEI.
Yeah, not that kind of rainbow, bro. It's also National Chocolate Mousse Day, Rico.
Everything chocolate. You just love to call my name out, man. I'm starting to think it has something to do with race.
Don't feel bad, Rico. I like watermelon. What does that have to
see?
Where are we going?
Oh man. It's also National Tweed Day, you guys.
I smoke tweed.
Tweed? Yeah,
we know you smoke tweed, Stone. We all know that. You live in Texas. We like there's no doubt about that. Yeah. There's no doubt. But I'm wondering how come Rico didn't wear a tweed hat today?
Because of my story from Great Britain.
And and you know, it's not Tuesday, but it is Thursday, and today is National Burrito Day. Yeah. I love burritos, bro. They're one of my favorite food.
You know?
Yeah.
El Pastor?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of burritos. That's one of my favorite Mexican foods.
Here, man.
I wish there was like you know, how there's like Taco Tuesday. I wish there was like a burrito day like that every week. That would be amazing.
Burrito Thursday. We got it.
Burrito, yeah. I mean, it's just once a year, Stone, today, unfortunately.
Hey, it could be burrito day every day, Jason. Come on.
Easy
it
there.
Is for somebody.
Easy there. Yeah, exactly. Thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above and down below to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, X, Instagram, Facebook, as well as on Kick. And on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. So welcome to everyone joining us from any one of those platforms. And we are going to kick it off with the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte, who had to travel all the way to the UK today just for his grand day today. That's right. It is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
Yeah, Jason. Thank you very, very, very much. And I pray that everybody out there watching or listening to High at 9 News this morning, April 3rd, 2025, woke up feeling as equally liberated as I
did.
if not more.
Probably more.
So we're now in the wake of Liberation Day, and because unlike Jason Beck and many of my esteemed right-wing colleagues, not all but many, I personally have no problem admitting when I make a mistake. In fact, admitting my faults and owning up to mistakes made, in my opinion, is paramount to growth as a man and a vital component to healing as a human being. That said, I was 100% wrong in my previous assumptions that the misguided tariff war launched yesterday evening by our 47th president would not spur an immediate boon for U.S. exports, as predicted by the economic genius and God King liberator himself, Donald J. Trump. Because my story today stands as proof that even the fear of a looming Smoot Holly 2 electric boogaloo, just the idea that Donald's depression may result in dire effects on the United Kingdom's frail, cheating economy, it's forced our frenemies across the pond to collectively bend knees to their true king and immediately send LOIs out as a sign of good faith, signaling interests like never before seen in America's most valuable export, influence. Because many American dry goods and services are not the only domestic marvels lusted after by the jealous countries near and far that are not us. It's the way that we treat people who look a certain way opposed to those who do not. Ryan Merrifield, senior news reporter for the Sun, delivered a story about two 30-year-old British women, Sophie Bannister and Levi April Wally, that were caught back in December 2023 smuggling 35 kilograms of cannabis through Birmingham International Airport after claiming they had been on a shopping trip to New York. 35 kilograms, that's 77 pounds in MAGA measurements, by the way. The duo told Border Force officials that they had been on a 3-day shopping trip to the Big Apple, and the unusual heft of their luggage was due to watches that they had hand-packed, hoping to sell for a profit in the UK. However, text messages between them later revealed they had become involved in a plot to import cannabis and expected to make a lot of money from their exports. The drugs, valued at over 160,000 pounds or 210,000 in freedom bucks, and were discovered in their luggage upon arrival from Paris. When their luggage was checked, officers found 34 heat-sealed packages containing 16.5 kilograms of cannabis in Bannister's case, and a further 39 packages containing 19 kilograms of cannabis in Wally's bag. Both women later admitted to knowingly transporting the drugs in exchange for financial gain. Wally, a nurse, was suspended from practice and decided to have a baby while awaiting sentence. While in court, she and her bestie Bannister held hands and sobbed as the Judge Richard Archer, criticized their lack of consideration for the consequences while doling out hardcore justice. You were both aware that having traveled from New York to Birmingham via Paris, that you had in your respective suitcases a significant quantity of heat-sealed bags containing 35.5 kilograms of cannabis. This was not your cannabis, but cannabis you were carrying on behalf of another. But you were expecting significant financial advantage for doing what you did. You discussed it in relation to this particular trip to New York with a clear view of the money you were going to make from behaving this way. You perhaps had little regard to the seriousness or consequences of your offending. It must have been in the back of your mind that you would be caught, but you probably thought very little about sitting in this dock this afternoon. I very much hope that you do not involve yourselves in this behavior again. See, both women received suspended sentences. Bannister for 20 months and Wally for 16, along with rehabilitation activities and unpaid work. Following their release, naturally, the pretty blonde-haired, blue-eyed influencers took to social media expressing gratitude to their hundreds of thousands of supporters and reflecting on the experience as a difficult but valuable lesson. 15 months of torture, huge lessons learned. A lot of tears along the way, but stood by each other's side no matter what. A true friendship, which will never be broken, which was proven today, holding hands, not knowing the outcome. Finally, some closure. and moving forward with our life. Ready for the biggest fresh start and realizing how important freedom really is. Now, I asked ChatGPT what the standard penalties in the UK were for smuggling cannabis, and this is what I found. Smuggling marijuana in the UK is a serious criminal offense under the 1971 Misuse of Drugs Act. Cannabis is classified as a Class B drug, and penalties for smuggling depend on the factors like quantity, intent, and prior criminal history. Potential penalties are, number one, for smuggling small amounts for personal possession, offenders expect up to 5 years in prison, an unlimited fine, or both. For supply and trafficking or smuggling large quantities, which Becky and Karen here qualify for, it's a minimum of 7 years, but up to 14 years in prison, an unlimited fine, or both. Aggravating factors listed that can increase sentencing: large quantity of drugs, organized smuggling operations, prior drug-related convictions, smuggling within a group, more than one person, or a gang, use of concealment methods. While first-time offenders or those with mitigating circumstances may receive suspended sentences or community service over the last 7 years, those cases are very hard to come by. Those found to have been large-scale drug smugglers not working alone typically face very harsh penalties. Interesting. To think, if it weren't for the threat of Trump's tariffs, the UK would not have had such leniency for these two pretty white girl influencers, and they would have been put under the jail. I'm Rico Lamitte, Nova's dad on the street, I9 News, and I feel liberated.
Oh,
Did you
boy.
ask ChatGPT what the punishment for smuggling while black was in the UK?
I didn't. Why don't you put it in there and tell me?
Well, this is the thing, you know. Pretty girls get away with murder lots of times. It happens
Jason,
lots
we
of
talked
times.
about pretty privilege the other day.
We did. We actually did. We were talking about pretty privilege just the other day. You are so right about Jenny Beth, and this is a perfect case of it because these chicks are smoking hot.
Look how good looking they are. I mean, come on. 15 months was hardcore for them.
I know,
15
bro.
months waiting. No, 15 months waiting to go to get sentenced. Waiting on trial for 15 months.
Did I mention how pretty they were? I mean,
they did not go to. They weren't locked up. They were waiting.
They might get a wrinkle or something. You know what I mean, Rico? Come on, have some compassion.
wow.
Yeah.
Holy slap on the wrist.
I mean, you never heard the saying as you know what I mean, like you're I mean, I know I've heard inmates or not inmates but bailiffs and jailers and whatnot say you're way too pretty to be in here.
Yeah. I've been told
Yeah,
that.
and those judges should be off the bench because justice is supposed to be blind.
I didn't say judges. I didn't say judges, Rico. I was referring to correctional officers. That was a nice try. That was a nice spin.
Do we know if maybe some snitching was done to whoever was about to receive all this?
Come on, you know these girls are way too pretty to be rats.
I would hope so. I would hope so. You know, I would hope there'd be more to that than this bullshit. Like what? 77 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
What do you have to say about this, Rachelle?
Pretty girls be snitching too. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Right.
Oh man, pretty girls be snitching too.
Maybe the first to snitch.
Oh man, I have seen that. I have witnessed that in my lifetime. That part is true. I
agree with the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with comparative sentencing for other people. I got 60 months. And look how pretty I am. I didn't snitch to anybody.
Yeah, you didn't even have any gray hair then, Dale.
I didn't.
It's because your IG was not popping at the time, Dale.
I get it.
There was no IG back then.
IG.
Yeah, I think their OF is probably popping more than their IG from the looks of these two.
That's true too. I would agree with that assessment, Jenny Beth.
What was that? Say that again.
I think their OF is probably popping more than their IG from the looks of these two girls.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
No, seriously, right? Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
That's why I sell weed, not coochie pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I've been seeing some of these plastic surgeons lately, and I don't trust nothing. I'm glad I'm married, and I saw my wife a long time ago because, geez, who knows what that baby's gonna come out looking like?
I'll tell you what.
A man actually in Asia is suing his wife because he thought the child was not his, then found out his wife had spent $100,000 on facial reconstructive surgery to not be ugly anymore.
Exactly. See?
Well, I'll tell you what. I would have loved to have these two mules in my stable. That would have been amazing.
Gross, Jason.
You don't sound real bright to me.
Leave it to Jason to say some dumb shit first thing in the morning.
Always, Jenny Beth. I'm here for it, and that's one of the reasons why you guys, you know what I'm saying, is what it's all about.
That's why we love you.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, look, there she is. Look, we can see her face now.
I'm still in LA.
There she is. All right. Well, that was a fun story, Rico. That was pretty fun. The UK is always good for a good one, and you know what I mean. These chicks, you know.
And New York. You got UK and New York together, Jason.
Yeah, and watches.
Two of your favorites.
And watches. Everyone loves a good watch.
You know, even though they got weed from New York, do you think it was probably Cali weed though, wasn't it?
It was Cali weed for sure. Yeah.
Of course it was.
Yeah, of course it was.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're gonna roll into our first commercial, and we're gonna be right back.
Oh man, your knees still bothering you, man?
Yeah, my left one, you know? And I'll tell you what, I've been using this new CBD cream, and it works like a miracle.
CBDs? I done heard about them CBDs. I was out there on them Twitters the other day, and I heard they get you high as a kite.
Well, not this stuff. This stuff is tested. Every batch, all the way through, pharmaceutical grade, and in a GMP certified facility. So you know you're not going to have to worry about flying high.
GMP certified? I might have to try some of this out. Where I'm even find this?
You go directly to aimhighhemp.com and they will ship it to your door right away. Test it. It's not a name, it's a promise.
No, Rico, we're not. Oh, and we are back, you guys. We are back.
Yes. Somebody who is no longer with us. But up next, y'all, she's a cannabis and psychedelics reporter, editor at Green State, and the industry's most decorated Lego champion, here to break us off another brick of stories. None other than Rachelle Gordon. You have for us today, Rachelle. You look warm.
Yeah, I'm heading to the baseball game, and it's opening day for the Twins. Go Twins! But it's only 39 degrees, but it feels like 27, and our stadium's outside. So I've got my long underwear on, got my hat on, got my jacket on. Hopefully they have heat lamps, but yes, it's going to be a frigid day at the ballpark. But in the meantime, big time fast food chains are celebrating 420 nationwide. I love this story. Every year we get more and more mainstream companies tapping in on the 420 hype. And my colleague Kara Wheatstock wrote about it yesterday. Let's see what she had to say. The spirit of 420 comes from the activism and camaraderie that keeps the cannabis culture and industry moving forward. Along the way, other entities have joined in for interesting offerings catered toward the stoners celebrating weed in late April. Yoga studios and meditation centers are drawing in a higher crowd, no pun intended, and music is always a winning collab with weed. Another friend of the sesh is comfort food. For many Americans, this takes them straight to the drive-thru. Jack in the Box has been a longtime supporter of stoners, first through tongue-in-cheek commercials, and then through outright partnerships with high icons like Snoop Dogg. Now more brands are getting in the mix. Here's a breakdown of some of the best fast food deals and specials for 420, starting with Jimmy John's THC box. The Toasted Hot combo from Jimmy John's launches on April 7th and lasts for a limited time. Each box contains crispy, gooey toasted sandwiches, a product that launched last month. They are available in 3 flavors: chicken bacon ranch, ultimate Italian, and roast beef and cheddar. Find a pickle spear, any flavor of chips, and a choice of a sweet treat in the Toasty combo box. Desserts include a red velvet cookie sandwich, a chocolate chip cookie, oatmeal raisin cookie, or a fudge chocolate brownie cookie. The boxes are only available while supplies last, but the company shared with Green State that it is prepared to keep it grooving through the big day. THC boxes start at $14.68, what a random price. but prices do vary by location. Next up, we have the White Castle Crave Clutch. After the heavy feature in the classic stoner movie series Harold and Kumar, White Castle almost has to do a 420 special at this point. Those who live near a White Castle can get $4 off a Crave Clutch. Crave Clutch is a unique container made for 20 sliders in any of the original 11 flavors. There's 11 flavors of sliders. Holy smokes. Perfect for a car full of stoned friends and one sober driver, of course. This is not to be confused with the classic 10-sack, 30-slider Crave case or 100-count Crave crate. Mix and match 20 burgers for this 420 and please the whole smoke circle. Next up, Jack in the Box Pink Pineapple Express line. The 420 vibe at Jack in the Box is the same, but different this year as they expand their Pineapple Express line to include pink pineapple. This pineapple variety is juicier and sweeter with less sour properties than traditional yellow ones. Roll through Jack or a pink Pineapple Express shake with the classic whipped topping and cherry, a similarly flavored slushy twisted soda with sweet vanilla cream, and Red Bull infusion between $4.14 and $4.21. Jackpack Rewards members can get the shake for $4.20. Oh yeah. $4.21. Those needing a pick-me-up can enjoy a pink Pineapple Express Red Bull infusion for half off. Yikes, that drink sounds like something. At this point, 420 is a national holiday. It may even be worldwide. There is no shame in enjoying the mainstream perks that come with it, like a festive milkshake or a burger box designed for stoners. Those who find themselves hungry for something delightfully toasted, filled with pink pineapple, or an array of little burgers, look no further than these 420 fast food specials. All right, guys, more companies are getting on the 420 bandwagon. What do you think about that?
I mean, oh God, I'm really sick of this whole
What?
I feel like the pink pineapple smoothie is like the Candy Smalls of smoothies.
but it also comes in a big size also, Jenny Beth.
All right.
Only available in bigs and smalls. I love this story. I think this is fantastic. I always enjoy
discounts.
I do love a good discount. You know what I'm saying? I am all about that. I'm not afraid to admit that. 100%. You know it. Costco's the business, man. They got those rotisserie chickens for $5.
I think we really need to appreciate these deals while they last because them tariffs ain't no joke. This might be the last deal we see in a long time.
Stop it, bro.
Rico, you can always go get you a $1.50 glizzy combo.
I mean,
the glizzy.
I mean, I think
gobbler.
I think 7-Eleven was like the first like major chain to incorporate a 420 special with their Slurpees.
Really?
If I remember correctly.
Jack in the Box been doing it for years, though, man.
I think 7-Eleven did it way before they did.
Yeah, well, Jack in the Box gives me heartburn. I want to see something from Taco Bell.
What do you mean? You don't like a good old sourdough Jack? It's got bacon.
I used to like the right before my gout started kicking my ass, man, I used to like them butter burgers that they had. It's like slab like a whole stack of butter on the cheeseburger and just make it that much better.
Well,
that much butter. You know what I'm saying? No.
Yep.
Love it. I love it. I don't eat most of this food anymore, but as far as just normalizing cannabis and making it more mainstream, I love that this story comes up every year around 420.
Yeah.
And it seems more and more people are jumping on. So I'm down.
I think it's fantastic, and then you find out which restaurants are really interested in marketing to the cannabis community, and the cannabis community. You know what I'm saying? I think should support those businesses.
Who's just trying to jump on the bandwagon and take advantage of it, like Jimmy John's was called out last year for doing exactly that.
They had rolling trays, bro.
They were still drug testing their employees, but putting
Who
out
cares?
Weed. But they're still putting out weed specials.
I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. I don't care about that at all.
You don't. I don't care if the person at Jimmy John's who's making my sandwich faster is high.
Yeah, I don't care about that either. Either way, I don't care. As long as they get my order right.
You don't have to exploitation.
Your fucking mind to work at Jimmy John's.
I don't care about none of that, personally. But
what do you care about, Jason? Personally. I think that's a better question. What do you care about, Jason? Who or what do you care about other than Donald Trump?
What do you care about?
There's a lot of things that I care about, Rico. I care that my order gets taken correctly. How about that? I care that my
Jason's a
order
very
comes out
friend.
proper and fresh and hot.
Jason's a very good, caring friend. Jason checks on me every other day to make sure I'm okay. He cares about a lot of things.
I care
mostly tariffs and Donald Trump policies, though.
Yeah, you know, I do care about tariffs.
Doesn't your well-being go hand in hand with Donald Trump policies? So.
I have well, you know, I believe.
Well, I do have pretty privilege, so I would like to think that the Donnie would want me to be okay.
There you go.
I do believe in, you know what I'm saying? I do believe in supporting women. I've always been a big supporter of women.
$1 at a time, Jason.
That's right. That's right. You know,
I think this makes easy marketing sense. But 60-70% of the people in the United States want cannabis legalized. So we'll blow that up and make as much as you can off it. Because people are not going, oh, it's not like you're selling heroin. No, it's weed. Stop it.
Yeah.
Buy yourself some White Castle sliders and shut the fuck up and get high.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd like to see the financial records and see what who they actually supported, these companies, if they supported pro-cannabis candidates locally, wherever their ownership lives.
Well, I'll tell you what I care about is Steve Blessingham threw in a fantastic chat, and I think that they're definitely Miss Anna Lewis, I know that you're watching, and I hope that Elliot puts out some type of promotion in regards with this for 420. Steve Blessingham says, so this year with Easter being on 420, come in and buy our weed. It's so good it made Jesus come back to life.
Oh my God. Easter special.
Oh, bro, that's so good.
Shout out to Cannabis. Cannabis has some fantastic deals. I do not often go to dispensaries, but I was in South Central last week and stopped by a new Catalyst location, and they had some excellent deals, 30% off.
Yeah, they got fire deals. You know what I'm saying? Fire weed for the people. 100%.
Yeah, we the people.
Yes. Well, that was a fun story, Rachelle. Is there anything else you want to add into that, Rachelle? Is there any like extra toppings you want to throw on the top of that?
Well, you know, I just hope we see more surprising brands. All of these brands have done kind of stoner-specific deals before. I know, like when Fatburger did their infused ketchup collab with Kiva, that was actually big news. But when we actually see like McDonald's or like a Burger King do something like this, then I'll really be surprised. But for now, it's kind of par for the course. I don't think I'll be taking advantage of any of these deals, but yay for people who will.
So hold on. So you're saying that McDonald's or Burger King is kind of the bar, like all these other fast food restaurants aren't as mainstream as those two, because those two are like basically the Coke and Pepsi of fast food, you're saying?
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I mean, it's just like, do you actually picture McDonald's doing a cannabis collab or like in any sort of like 420 promotion? Then I think that would make a lot of headlines.
Royale with cheese for 420.
Well, you know, I think the problem that McDonald's would have is that, or you know, that no, because they would just throw in the disclaimer at participating locations, because each McDonald's is owned independently, and so that their pricing varies between location. Like you can go to one McDonald's and, you know, pay X number of dollars for the same item, and go to another McDonald's and pay a totally different price. So, but
you know who I think the bar is, Jason?
What's that?
Oh, the Jesus chicken. When Chick-fil-A says we can have a 420 special.
Oh, Chick-fil-A should totally have a 420 special because it's Easter.
They're closed on Sundays.
They're closed on Sundays.
They should be open on this Sunday because Jesus arose on Sunday.
Jesus came back. Chick-fil-A can't open. So
I think they should.
Next year it will not be on a Sunday.
Jesus arose.
Yeah. Yes, arose. Yeah, bro. Yes.
How many times have you been in church, Jason?
Oh man, I go every Sunday, bro. I go to church every Sunday.
He arose. It's literally a song.
That was a fun.
It actually says arose twice in that verse. He arose a victim from the dark. Oh man. Come on. How many times have you been to church, Rico?
Yeah, exactly.
I used to go every Sunday until college, and that's when I became a heathen, and I've been a couple times since.
Exactly. Well, Rico, if you ever want to come on down to Huntington Beach, I'm more than happy to take you to church with me if you ever want to come.
What kind of church are we going to go to, Jason?
It's an amazing church. I only go to amazing places.
I believe it's non-denominational, as Jason's church is non-denominational. But
Yeah.
Not Catholic. Jason's
yeah,
not good with the kneeling and standing and kneeling and standing. You know. He only bends
Yeah.
the knee for one person.
I'm not one for bending the knee. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not running for office, and my problem with going to churches while I'm not running for office is I got too many questions. You know what I'm saying?
Well, guess what, bro? I have answers,
and they don't like giving real answers.
I have tons of answers, Rico. You may not like them, but I got tons of answers.
That's why it was not confirmed in the Catholic Church.
They're gonna kick you out.
You see?
Well,
See?
don't listen to Jenny Beth. Don't let Satan deter you.
Hey, now.
All right, before we go any farther with this, we are going to roll right into attorney at law, Mr. Dale Schafer. Dale has been an attorney since the Reagan administration, and he has represented physicians, hospitals, insurance companies, cops, corrections officers, and for the last 25 years, he specialized in cannabis law. He served a 5-year federal prison sentence for helping medical marijuana patients and managed to save his law license while doing it. He's blunt. He doesn't smoke them because they're gross and nasty. He's honest and is unconcerned with public opinions, and especially yours, and he will show you how to defy gravity by pissing up a rope. That's right, it is your favorite Tio Loco, and you can now find him at his own law office at the law office of Dale Schafer. His attorney at law, Mr. Dale Schafer.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. My story this morning comes out of Marijuana Moment, and the headline is Trump's veteran secretary had eye-opening psychedelic talk with RFK Jr., and he plans to press Congress to act. Now, this caught my attention because I'm a veteran. I've been diagnosed with PTSD, and psychedelics have been moderately helpful. So this caught my attention. And Mr. Collins, who's the new VA secretary, to be a Republican congressman who was not voting in favor of such things, but apparently he had an enlightening discussion, epiphanies, if you will, talking to RFK Jr. about the use of psychedelics. They didn't specifically state which psychedelics RFK Jr.'s kid was using, but apparently one of his kids is having some problems, used psychedelics, and RFK advised him that I sat right there and watched it. And so now I believe him. And unfortunately, for too many people, they have to experience the effects of some of these substances before they really are enlightened and get their head out of their ass and stop, preaching some of this right-wing nonsense or even ultra-left-wing nonsense about how bad these things are for you. Now, what I found hopeful, and I want to give props to this secretary, is that he's going to look for every avenue he can, including vouchers, to try and see if they can get VA to pay somehow for these studies on veterans who have struggles after their service periods. There's a whole lot of them. I have tons of veteran friends here in California who've represented a bunch of them in organizations, and PTSD is one of the major problems that they face after service. And everything from ketamine to MDMA or ecstasy to mushrooms have been helpful. Ayahuasca, DMT are also helpful. And so what caught my attention is that this VA secretary is looking for every avenue he can to try and get psychedelic therapies brought to the VA, which I thought was hopeful, because I can't remember hearing any VA secretary say any such thing in the past administrations. And what he also pledges to do is to sit down with RFK and other members of these the administration agencies and find out where are the roadblocks to doing this. Okay? Understand where you have, green lights to go and where you have red lights not to go. Take the data to the Congress and apparently people he knows in Congress, see if they can address some of these roadblocks. Now, I'm bringing this story because I want to give props to the Trump administration and especially this VA secretary for trying to get through these roadblocks. One of the problems we face with the VA is they absolutely refuse to deal with cannabis. Even in states where it's legal, they really have not wanted to do recommendations or incorporate it consciously into therapies. They'll, talk to you about it, but they really don't want to be involved. I don't know if they even understand the positive effects of cannabis on veterans with PTSD or chronic pain or things like that. So my point is that I want to give props where props are due. This guy seems like he's going to try to break these log jams. For the veteran community out there, especially those really suffering with PTSD, I think psychedelics have a great opportunity to try and break through and readjust their brain and help them with their struggles with PTSD. I'm going to throw this back at you for your thoughts about this. What do you guys think about this new secretary trying to push this?
This is fantastic news, Dale. And I happen to be personal friends with Doug Collins, and so I'm super excited that he has taken this position. I'm not surprised at all in his willingness to move forward on this and to learn more about it. I had some really amazing conversations regarding with him with cannabis and cannabis policy and whatnot. And at that point in time, he was the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, where there was a bill that was going through regarding cannabis. And I'll tell you what, man. After our meetings, he listened so well, because when I watched that judiciary hearing, I literally saw everything that I told him about him be able to reverberate during that committee hearing. And I was just so impressed with him and his willingness to learn and have an open mind in regards with this, because his district where he was from in Georgia is a very, very conservative district, very, very rural, very, very, you know what I'm saying? His parents were both cops and everything like that. And so very pro law enforcement. And so, but man, this guy gets it. And I couldn't be happier for our veterans that we have someone like Doug Collins as the head of the VA.
Jason, we have a comment in the chat for you. Nick Bradley wants to know, since you're personal friends, what's his birthday?
Tell Nick Bradley to Google it if he wants to know his freaking birthday.
He was bored.
Yeah.
He
was a friend of mine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, this is amazing news. I love this. So, I mean, I personally dealt with PTSD, not for military service, but it's still PTSD, and psychedelics are insanely helpful. So anything that we can do to help those that serve our country, I think is really important.
Well, the research is well documented going back into the 50s. Mm-hmm. The CIA was looking for truth serum, and they started giving soldiers every damn thing, and you see them marching around on acid, running into each other. Mm-hmm. They found that psychedelics were more effective for depression and things like that than any antidepressants they had on the market. And that just rolled. MDMA they found in when German pharmaceuticals were making this clear right after the First World War. MDMA, it didn't mean anything until it hit the streets as ecstasy, but it dumps dopamine. It's very helpful. DMT is the same thing. This stuff is very helpful. And if you've ever seen somebody who's basically catatonic from PTSD, you can break through. It's a miracle worker. I'm not saying it works for everybody, but to put people in jail for doing this, especially with veterans, or to deny them access, I just think is cruel, especially when you have such evidence that it works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you got to say, Stone?
Broken clock is right 2 times a day.
That's just great news. Sorry, I was on mute. Great news, man. I got nothing else to say, but yeah, good shit.
Yeah, shout out to
the 80,000 people losing their jobs under this man.
Hell yeah. Get rid of all that dead weight over there.
That's not dead weight.
100%.
They were actually hired to bolster the VA, who had been under like a lot of pressure over the last couple of decades for poor support, and now they're just gutting this shit. So
I'm glad
like
that they're gutting
a broken clock can be right twice a day, and just like Dale said, give props where props is due. This is good news, but all the other shit that's going on under his watch is fucked up for the veterans.
No way, bro. No way. I totally disagree with that.
You can disagree all you want. Just like you said, he's your friend, your boy, your boy.
He is my guy, guy. Without a doubt.
He can be your guy, and he can still be very, very garbage at what his real purpose is under in American government.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
Yep.
And on that, we're gonna roll into our next commercial, and we're gonna be right back. And you know what I mean. And the next commercial is coming up is gonna be Anna's, and apparently they have breakfast burritos over there. I just ordered the summertime strawberry salad when added steak on top here at Anna's. Make sure you do the same thing too next time you're in downtown Long Beach. Come on down and check out Anna's joint on the 400 block of Pine Street. They have amazing selection of beers, foods, and when you come down here to Anna's, you can even challenge me to a game of shuffleboard if you want to lose. Did you get that? So, next time you're in downtown Long Beach on Pine Avenue, make sure you stop by Anna's Joint on the 400 block. Not only do they have Anna's Joint, this restaurant and bar, but they also have the amazing deli next door, and then next door to that they have a very exotic flower shop. You may want to stop by and say hi. All right, stop whatever you are doing. Make sure you smash that like button. I know we'll appreciate it, you'll appreciate it, and YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can read directly on our website at www.high9news.com.
Not Nick Bradley really sent me a screenshot of his phone when you weren't there.
Yes, and we are back, you guys. We are back.
We're right back like cook crack. You know, Rachelle's now that we are out of order here. We're going.
We're going to go to Stone and then Jenny Beth, and then I'll do my story last.
Oh yeah, coming up next is the man who hit the high road and left those Delta 8 dabbling smugglers back in the ATX. Jason.
It's Austin, Texas, bro. Stop it.
Here he is, the man also who has been called a stoner version of Mr. Rogers. To break us off with our first Stone Slade. Yeah.
I never knew Mr. Rogers did Delta 8.
Anthony. All right. I guess let's do my story. You ever watch a grown man threaten to hold his breath until he gets his way? Well, that's basically what we're seeing in Texas politics right now, with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick pitching a full-on man-baby tantrum over THC. After the Senate passed SB 3, his dream bill to ban all THC products in the state, including the legal hemp-derived stuff like Delta 8 and Delta 9, Patrick warned the House that if they don't pass it too, he might demand a special session, because nothing screams responsible governance like dragging lawmakers back so that he can finish flipping the board when he's losing the game. Now, Patrick claims this is about protecting the kids, says kids are getting poisoned today as if they're out there hitting Delta 8 vape pens on the playground like juice boxes. Listen, nobody wants kids accessing these products, but banning regulated, tested THC doesn't protect them. It pushes everything into the underground, into the black market, where there's zero age checks, zero safety standards, and zero accountability. You know what actually made Delta 8? Prohibition. If we hadn't spent decades demonizing a plant that grows naturally out of the ground, if we'd regulated cannabis like adults instead of pretending that we could pretend it away, there wouldn't have been a market for synthetics in the first place. Because here's my take. There's no need for Delta 8 or synthetic Delta anything when we already have a perfectly good plant. Whole plant cannabis, regulated, cultivated, and tested. The fact that we're even debating over weird lab-cooked loopholes is a direct result of political stubbornness and bad policy. And that brings me back to House Bill 28. Yes, the same one that I reported on last week. Now, it's not perfect, but at least it's headed in the right direction. House Bill 28 proposes a regulatory framework that puts real oversight on the hemp industry, licensing, testing, packaging rules. It's a grown-up solution to a grown-up problem. Does it need a little tweaking? Sure. There's holes to plug and language to clarify, but at least it's not setting fire to $1 billion industry just to win a headline. So I have to ask, Dan Patrick, if your goal is to truly protect the kids, why push them into the arms of the black market? Why dismantle a legal, regulated system and leave nothing in its place but risk and chaos? Is this about safety, or is this about scoring political points? Dan Patrick might think Texans will cheer him on while he throws his tantrum, but I think most folks are smarter than that. They want policies that make sense, not performative crackdowns that cause more harm than good. So here's hoping that the House sticks to their guns, makes smart edits to House Bill 28, and tells Patrick to save his breath, because no one's interested in another round of legislative theater. We've got enough drama in Texas already. Back to you guys.
Yeah, Dan Patrick needs to get with it. Get with the program. He needs to get with the will of the people, and it's very clear in Texas, especially when you poll this issue, that he doesn't have the public support on this. And so I just wish that he would, drop this issue like a bad habit. But I feel like he's literally so pot invested in this, and has been doubling down that he just wants to just shove it down everyone's throat. And I just don't think that that's the way to go. And it could be a cause for him to lose his position. Brian Dombrowski in the chat says the House Committee on Senate Affairs has the SB3 and HB 28 on Monday, and if you're in Austin, come on down and make your voice heard. And so yeah, definitely, if you are going to be in Austin during that time, go down and make your voice heard, and help support these advocates down there trying to make sure that Texas stays as free as it is.
What if you're in ATX? There's
no such thing as ATX.
It is decriminalized in the ATX, so
it's not really.
You get less penalties here.
It's not really
in the ATX.
There you go.
The cops just have better things to do, is all that really means.
Cops never have better things to do.
So they should.
I agree with you, Dale. Exactly. They should. I totally agree with you. They totally should. I'm in 100% agreement with you on that. All day.
This nonsense of the children, and as Stone points out, you're forcing them to go into the black market, where nobody checks IDs, nobody does a COA, and he's right. Delta 8 wouldn't exist unless we had these nonsensical prohibitions. And when you take a look comparatively, alcohol and tobacco are still the biggest concerns for young folks, and cannabis isn't even in the same zip code, yet we want to compare it to heroin and fentanyl, and it's safer than any natural substance out there. No one's ever died from it. It's not poisonous. Sure, you can use enough to make yourself unconscious, but that's pretty stupid to do. Never cause cancer, doesn't kill you. I mean, you can have shit in it that'll make you sick, and that's why you should have a regulated, tested market. So it's a circular argument that gets us nowhere. But it seems to appeal to somebody because people keep saying it. And I hope you're right, Jason. If popular support is there for this and he keeps pounding this drum, he just loses the election.
Yep.
Something else to do.
Exactly. Because, voter ID is coming to a state near them for sure. Works all the way around. I am going to say this though, in regards with your comment, Stone, as far as Delta 8 not existing unless for this prohibition type of mindset or whatnot. I totally disagree with that, because I remember when Delta 8 was created, and I actually sold it, some of it back then. But I will tell you this much: it would not be as big of a thing as it is today if it wasn't for prohibition. But it would still be a thing.
Yeah, all right. I mean, I don't think that anybody given a choice is like, I'll take the fake shit. Here, Jason, you may have this Rolex Prezi, or you may have this Folex Prezi. Which one would you like?
There's some people that liked it. They liked the, you know what I'm saying, that whatever it was about it, that they liked it.
Yeah, they liked the fact that it was cheap because it's fake.
No, it's not.
There would not be a market for it.
In an instance where we could have used either, you know what I mean? Like, it's come on, Jason. It's a gimmick. It's a baby.
Hey, I'm just telling you what I know and what I've experienced, and
I'm telling
that
you
is
what
truth.
I know too, because I've seen it be pulled. I've seen conversion leaders many times.
I'm not talking about conversion leaders.
Not my first day either. Well, what do you think? What do you think that is?
I'm not talking about conversion leaders.
What do you think that is?
So,
this stuff was clear.
Heard this way back in the day. Jason made, smoked, and sold Delta 8. The Delta 8 king, Jason Beck, only the best Delta 8 in the world.
Only the best D8. Yes, only the best D8 in the world. That's right. You know what I'm saying? That's just how we roll.
Yes.
Just is what it is. Yeah.
Whatever that means. Like comparing one pile of dog shit to another. Which one's better?
Hey, I mean, bro, I sold a lot of mids in my day. Okay, I used to even sell Bammer. Okay, so like, listen, I have no.
They used to call him Bammer Beck. That was his nickname back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I sold brick Mexican weed back in the 70s.
That's Bammer weed. That's what we're talking about, Dale. That's exactly that. That's Bammer weed.
I put it on my resume though.
I put it on my resume so that way people know how far I go back. You know what I'm saying? I used to even in dispensary days I sold Bammer weed on my shelf.
I don't know, man. Resume sounds like a French word to me. It sounds DEI.
People wanted it. People bought it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm here for what people want.
Oh boy. Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's our next story about?
We don't have a next story, Jenny Beth. We have a commercial coming up, and we're going to roll right into our next commercial, and we're going to be right back.
Oh man, your knees still bothering you, man?
Yeah, I left one, And I'll tell you what, I've been using this new CBD cream, and it works like a miracle.
CBDs? I done heard about them CBDs. I was out there on them Twitters the other day, and I heard they get you high as a kite.
Well, not this stuff. This stuff is tested. Every batch, all the way through, pharmaceutical grade, and in a GMP certified facility. So you're not going to have to worry about flying high.
GMP certified? I might have to try some of this out. Where I'm even find this?
You go directly to aimhighhemp.com and they will ship it to your door right away. Tested. It's not a name, it's a promise.
I'm not moving back to LA, but I loved it.
And we are back, you guys.
All right, y'all. Up next, we have a different kind of conservative. One that actually openly acknowledges that pretty privilege does exist.
Damn straight it does.
Very, very, very highly opinionated and very melanated. She is the founder of Kind Cannabis Consulting, Justice Served 501c3, and live in the flesh, hooded up this morning. I do have to fight back a little bit about something, Jenny Beth, because your pretty privilege didn't get you out of jail. So I don't know.
Yeah, because my black card came up. You know what I mean?
You said it.
It's like the Uno reverse card.
Oh,
you know
God.
What I mean?
Stop the ridiculousness.
She said the quiet part out loud. I can't believe it.
Stop the ridiculous.
I always say the quiet part out loud. Are you fucking...
Exactly. That's how I feel.
So I have less of a story today and more of just a few tips. And this is, you can always call Kind Consulting to help you with these things because it's really important to build your business the right way. So if you're doing business in the cannabis industry, drafting your contracts the right way is more important than ever because people are getting fucked. Because marijuana remains illegal under federal law, even state licensed cannabis businesses can face major legal hurdles when trying to enforce contracts in federal court. That means if a deal goes bad, you could be left with no legal recourse. I gave you as a story that set some legal precedent the other day that basically says if you're doing something wrong, the judge does not have to intervene in whatever you want the court to do if you're doing something that is federally illegal. Here are 3 crucial tips from legal experts to help protect your business. Tip 1, always get it in writing. Verbal agreements or handshake deals just won't cut it in this complex legal landscape. No shit, guys. Make sure your contract includes a clause that requires disputes to be settled in state court, preferably in the state where cannabis business is licensed. Federal courts have dismissed multiple cases simply because the contracts involve federally illegal activity. Think ahead about enforcement. If a deal falls through, how will you collect a judgment? Will another state's court even have the authority to help you? The cannabis industry may be maturing, but it's still full of legal landmines. A carefully drafted contract isn't just smart, it's essential. And also, do some research on some due diligence on the people you're going into business with. I've gotten people out of many, many, many predatory contracts. And my favorite are when you can Google someone, they pop up with an SEC sanction saying they're not supposed to be leading any kind of board or selling any kind of stock or doing any of these things. And you have them as a straw leader of your company that you should be owning. They'll fuck you right out of it. but figure out how you break up before you get into that marriage, because how you divorce is really important. You need to know what people's actual motivations are, what they're going to be coming at you for if this little marriage relationship falls apart. So if you're wanting to get into cannabis, happy to guide you, but you need to do it carefully, because it's a real good way to get fucked with no dinner and no lube.
Oh, sounds like someone's having a sandpaper condom.
Sounds like it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree, Ginny Beth. I've drafted many a contract in the industry. I try to restrict people going to federal court. That's just a nightmare. I kind of like arbitration because you can keep things quiet if you want to. I love attorney's fees provision. So you want to try this, you lose, you're going to be paying my attorney's fees too. And I basically require that people use the courts close to where their headquarters are. I'm only licensed in California, so I require California courts to be used, but I like them to be close to where the headquarters is. So there's going to be a problem. My client's not traveling to Eureka or something like that to litigate something. You got to go to downtown LA or Sacramento or San Francisco or something like that.
Orange County.
Orange County will work too. Someplace where they have a real judges and real courts where you can actually get stuff done. And it is very important you do due diligence. I mean, once you get an LOI out there or an MOU, you need to start scratching and sniffing. Make sure that you put people are telling you the truth. And if they don't tell you the truth, these warranties will then remove them from a business, keep you from having problems. I mean, as you know, here in California, if you've got certain problems, you can't be involved in a cannabis business at all. And so you want to get warranties out of them that they don't have those kind of problems. And if they pop up, that person's gone. They're paying your attorney's fees, and litigation's going to continue if they really screwed things up. It is critical that you do not do a wink and a nod and a handshake in this industry. Because I'll tell you what, I don't trust basically anybody in this industry. And if they tell you something, you take it with a large grain of salt.
Fair. Well, good advice going on over here today. Look at this. Look at this.
No, that first one's free.
I'm not your lawyer, so this is not legal advice, okay? There's my disclaimer, so my malpracticing carrier. Not my...
Just so you know, we have the disclaimer at the beginning of the show too, Dale, just so you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
It reminds some people are just knuckleheads. So
yep.
Tell them 4 or 5 times.
It's funny. Anna Lewis in the chat, she says, should at least get dinner first.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
And,
say Figueroa.
Yeah, exactly. It should be like a good dinner, you know what I mean? And then maybe followed up by breakfast at Anna's for one of those breakfast burritos.
No, you can leave in the morning.
How about a nice trip to Jack in the Box? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for one of those 420 specials.
Give me a butter
That's
jack.
Exactly what you want to get down afterwards.
Yeah,
Feeling all bloated and greasy. Come here, Daddy.
Their tacos are vegan too.
Yeah, you got it.
Disgusting.
Jack before, not after the box.
Oh boy. Oh man. Oh.
All right, moving on.
All right. I'm gonna roll into my story. That was funny, you guys. I have some great news for you guys. I have some great news.
Tell.
Yes, and shout out to the Cole memo for sending this over to us. We super appreciate it, Cole. Much love, bro. We appreciate that. But man, you guys, this is great news. Great news, you guys.
Spit it out, son.
I'm getting ready to. Because Michigan's top court says police can't search cars solely because of marijuana odor, you guys. The Michigan Supreme Court has ruled that the odor of marijuana alone isn't reason enough for police to search a car without a warrant. That's right. The odor of marijuana alone is not sufficient reason for police to search a car without a warrant, the Michigan Supreme Court said on Wednesday. In a 5-1 opinion, the court threw out gun charges against a man whose car was searched in Detroit in 2020. Michigan voters in 2018 legalized the possession and use of small amounts of marijuana by people who are at least 21 years or age or older, though it cannot be used inside a vehicle. In a quote, The smell of marijuana might just as likely indicate that the person is in possession of a legal amount of marijuana, recently used marijuana legally, or was simply in the presence of someone else who used marijuana, said Justice Megan Kavanaugh, writing for the majority. Shout out to this lady. The smell, in quotes, no longer constitutes probable cause sufficient to support a search for contraband, Kavanaugh wrote. 2 lower courts had reached the same conclusion, and elsewhere, the Illinois Supreme Court made a similar ruling last September, and that state legalized the possession of marijuana in 2019. In an additional quote, there are now a myriad of situations where cannabis can be used and possessed, and the smell resulting from that legal use and possession is not indicative of the commission of a criminal offense, Justice P. Scott Neville Jr. said. In the Michigan case, the lone dissenter, Justice Brian Zahara, said he favored returning it to a Detroit area court to determine whether any evidence supported a search of the car by police. And well, this is a huge victory for Michiganders and everyone out in the D and whatnot. And congratulations, Michigan. You guys, they cannot use cannabis as a smell of probable cause to search your vehicle anymore. This is great news. And this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News Hour. What do y'all got to say about this?
I mean, if this guy wouldn't have had an illegal gun, I would be cheering a little louder. I mean, obviously they're not going to return said illegal gun to this defendant. But, you know, I mean, and also Jason Beck's new word of the day is myriad. There are a myriad of reasons.
I said it correctly.
Why they could have searched that car from a rod.
Whatever.
It's about time. It's about time they got on board with this, because cops have used that smell to just do unwarranted searches for far too long.
Mm-hmm.
To do more.
Mm-hmm.
If from a lawful vantage point in plain view, you see illegal substances in there, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't like unwarranted searches of anything. They've taken this exigent circumstances bullshit way too far.
Mm-hmm.
And as Anita said, if there wasn't an illegal gun here, I think this is a yawner. It's about time. But you know, sometimes people get caught up in this and they get turned loose when perhaps they should have got spanked for something. But we got rules for a reason. Fourth Amendment says you don't get to search without a warrant, but you've got to go to a judge and you've got to have an affidavit from a cop that's, you know, tells you what you're going to search and what you're searching for, and they don't want to do that, so they've allowed exigent circumstances. We're on the roadside.
Mm-hmm.
Big fucking deal, okay? I don't care where you are. The Fourth Amendment means you can't search my shit without a warrant.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to tighten that up a little bit, because sometimes bad guys get away. That's what our system's designed to do, so that the good guys don't get thrown in prison. I'm the exception, but you know, so we get thrown in prison for bullshit. And let's follow the Constitution. It's about time.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. I mean, you know, I'm just really excited about this, and you know, I know this is going to help a lot of people that normally wouldn't have gone to jail for certain things, not go to jail and not get caught up and wrapped up and whatnot. But of course, you know, there's going to be those dumb guys that have a ashtray full of blunt roaches in the car, and they're going to say that cannabis they can't use that as probable cause. But as soon as they see that ashtray, that's probable cause, because that is demonstrating that you have been smoking while driving. And so the best thing to do, if you are smoking while driving, throw that shit out the window when you're done. Do not save and do not ash in your ashtray, you guys. And this is not legal advice either.
Just so we're being clear, the smell of marijuana for a search is almost always, not always, but almost always a portion of receiving a charge called DWB. If you're not familiar with DWB, Dale can tell you the legal language is driving while black. So they're cutting down the reasons why we can profile people in that sense. So
yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think this is fantastic news. I'm very excited.
I'll remind people, don't break more than one law at a time.
Great legal advice right there, Dale. That we can say is legal advice. Don't break one law at a time. Yeah.
You got an illegal gun. Don't be smoking pot while you're driving.
Yeah.
Mom would drop you on your head when you were a kid. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Especially if it's a smoking gun, Dale.
Yeah.
Stone, you got anything you want to chime in on this?
Hey, it's good. Good win for Michigan. Keeps the refs from controlling the game. You know, so I like it.
All right. Well, looks like we're gonna get out of here on time today, you guys. What do you guys think about that?
Ooh.
Yeah. Winning. Well, thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific and high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to our audience and supporters for tuning in daily and listening to the insanity that is the developing cannabis industry. Huge thank you to Aim High Hemp Distribution and Catalyst for helping us keep the lights on over here, and thank you to our correspondents for being absolutely amazing. Thank you to Cannabis Sativa L for giving us a reason to do this every day, and thank you to CloudMedia.Partners Anthony out there in the metaverse. Thank you so much, buddy. Yes. And thank you all for tuning in and getting high at 9 with us. We are America's #1 daily cannabis news show.